Launch news, 5 bold predictions. Go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Launch News. I'm Jeff Pilkington, and we are today going to give 5 bold predictions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 bold predictions. We are going to talk the future a little bit today because there is a bright future ahead for everybody. And let's get into it right now. The first prediction that I have that I'm going to state out loud right now is that the news, that's right, CNN and Fox News, our 2 favorite networks, are going to grow to love each other more. Right now, we have this hatred in America amongst the news networks. They just feud, and people get behind one source. They get together behind CNN, they get behind Fox News, and that's it. Whatever that network's saying, they get behind what those people are saying. Now, here's the thing. I said in a couple videos ago, I talked about Mandela effect and Charlottesville and Donald Trump and how all that connected. And what I said is, like, literally the 2 networks, I can't do what most people can do, which is like pick one network and be like, yo, the Democrats have it all right. Or be like, no, yo, the Republicans have it all right. Because I'm literally looking at the 2 different sets of what's happening, and it's giving me like split brain. Both sides are being like, this is what's happening. No, this is what's happening. No, this is what's happening. No, this is what's happening. Like, I don't know how people do that. Like, it literally would drive me nuts. I don't know how you do it. Why can't both sides look at both and be like, form a more informed opinion instead of continuing this divisive news network behavior? I don't get it. So like I said, what we're going to do is pretend that I'm an alien that came from some planet who knows where, and I've arrived, day 1, on Earth. I've arrived to Earth, and I'm seeing 2 networks, and I'm seeing you guys argue and fight and tear each other's faces off over these issues, when all I do as an alien is just look at them and see what's objectively happening right now in the moment upon my arrival. So nothing is news here unless the 2 networks say the same thing or don't say it at all. We're going to go based on what the networks both report and agree upon, because otherwise it's not news. But anyway, I can't do the split anymore like you guys do. Anyway, that's not going to matter long term because the news is going to come to love one another. It's going to change, and we're going to look back on these days when they were feuding and when there were all these fights, and we're going to say, wow, big picture, there was a lot more happening. It's kind of the step to our next level of understanding of the world that we live in. So they're going to come to love one another. Chris Cuomo is going to come to love Tucker Carlson. We're going for it, folks. And Tucker's going to love Chris. And Don Lemon's going to love Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity's going to love Don Lemon. We're going for it. I mean, who else? Laura Ingraham? We got to talk about the ladies. Laura Ingraham is going to love Brooke Baldwin. That's the first prediction. Second prediction is, I talked about this also in Charlottesville. We're going to come to accept what's called false memories. Now, false memories, what I believe the Mandela effect to be, it could be anything else. It might be a parallel universe, time travel, or anything. It could be any of that. I'll get attacked by the Mandela people because when I say false memories, everybody gets very angry in the comments. Very angry. So I'm trying to, be civil about that. I do believe that it's false memories. And I think that, but it could be any other things. It could be CERN or time travel, anything.
You serious?
I'm serious. Anyway, I believe false memories are a bigger deal than we're making of them. And by that I mean, I believe false memories are a huge part of why we fight and why there's this debate and why there's this divisive behavior, because people are remembering things incorrectly. And the best thing you can do is look at pop culture. Go watch my Mandela effect videos. I'll put a card up there. They explain what is happening, how people are misremembering. But I think that's happening on a bigger and a deeper level. Also in the Charlottesville video, Scott Adams talked about it. And I think that it's affecting us more than we know. Let's put it that way. And I think that in the future, because we have technology, we're going to realize how flawed our memories are, even more than they are now. And that's going to really factor in decisions. And I think it ultimately could change the world, how we view our memories, which we're not quite getting how flawed they really are and how much they're causing this fighting divisive behavior. It's because we're all misremembering things based on what we're wired and what we picked up and what we remember. We're channeling that instead of what's happening in the present moment. It's about the present moment. Everything is in the present moment. That's so crucial. Buddha talked about it. Acting teachers talked about it. Yeah, I'm an actor.
I'm a very famous actor.
Surprise. So yeah, I think false memories are going to become, big. Let's put it that way. Prediction number 3. Talked about this in a video too. Male-female sports are going to become co-ed. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies are going to be playing baseball. They're going to be playing football, hockey. They're going to join all those major league sports. Now, I know they already have their own version of all the sports. There's tennis and golf and field hockey. There's women's basketball, WNBA, all of it, softball, all that going on. However, it's going to become co-ed. And it's about time that it became co-ed because literally I described this in the video. I'm not going to go into great detail, but sports is already unfair. Like as far as anatomies and sizes of people, everybody's different sizes. Shaq is a giant, and then he's playing with short people. When you were in high school, there were all different sizes of people playing basketball. It wasn't ever fair. Nothing was fair about it. And Scott Adams did a good job of describing this. He described it as unfair, but then he went more into detail and he described it as sports because nothing's fair about it and because it's kind of glamorizing people and putting them on a pedestal because of their athletic talents, which is fine. I mean, some people are more athletic, but we kind of grow to idolize these people, and they're just people. They're talented athletes, but they're just people. There's other important things in the world that, could be more emphasized that aren't, unfortunately. And we put these amazing athletes up there like they're gods. And that's great. They do have athletic talent, but there's other important things. So if it's already a pile of crap with the unfairness, mixing women and men is just putting more crap on the crap. So when you add crap to crap, when you add unfair to unfair, it's all still crap and unfair. So we might as well just make it happen. So if you're thinking like anatomy, different sizes, women are different anatomies, they're not as strong, they're not as big, like you are in an illusion. You are in a cognitive mental model from the past that does not exist anymore. That memory, the way you've been wired, is just in your brain that has to happen that way. And it doesn't. The world has changed. It doesn't have to happen like that anymore. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is an important one, is climate change, which a lot of people are unsure about still. The big factor in climate change that's going to become an even bigger deal is what's going to make the difference is generation for nuclear. That's right. Nuclear energy is going to make the difference. Who's talking about it? Let's look up who's talking about it. First off, famous film director Oliver Stone's tweeted about it in the past week or two. What did Oliver Stone say? He said, nuclear energy provides the answer wind and solar power simply cannot. Within 20 years, U.S. can convert, slashing greenhouse gas and decarbonizing our economy. Our fear is holding us back. That's right, folks. It's our fear. Fear is the enemy, and it's holding us back. So we need to be talking about important things instead of Mueller and impeaching Trump, which is just a waste of time, which all Democrats that are running for office agree upon. If the Democrats want to win the office in 2020, they need to start focusing on how they're going to win the office. And Bernie will tell you that. Any of them will tell you that. So let's not get off topic, but the news needs to stop talking about all that crap and start focusing on the election stuff, because there's another election coming up. That's what we talk about here at Launch News. When news doesn't become news anymore, stuff like Mueller, which all the merry men are still yakking about on there, we move on here to the next topic. And we're not biased to either party. We talk for both parties. Just FYI, dropping in some FYIs there. We have fun around here. Let's have some fun. News needs to be fun again. It needs to promote anger. Anyway, Oliver Stone comes out. Nuclear energy. Loves Generation 4 nuclear. Who else came out? Bill Gates tweeted about it. What did Bill Gates say? Bill Gates said, yesterday, a bipartisan group of leaders in the U.S. Senate introduced the Nuclear Energy Leadership Act, which establishes an ambitious plan to accelerate the development of advanced nuclear reactor technologies. I can't overstate how important this is. To prevent the worst effects of climate change, we need to reach near zero emissions on all the things that drive it: agriculture, electricity, manufacturing, transportation, and buildings. By investing in innovation across all sectors while deploying low-cost renewables, nuclear energy is one of those critical technologies. It's ideal for dealing with climate change because it is the only carbon-free, scalable energy source that's available 24 hours a day. I'm thrilled that senators from both sides of the aisle have come together to support advanced nuclear. This is exactly the kind of leadership our country needs to both solve the climate challenge and reassert our leadership in this important industry. So we need to get people behind this for climate change. Generation 4 is a big deal. And by the way, that's not to say that wind and solar are not the answer. They very much could be the answer. But we need to do what's called A/B testing. We need to test these different things. Test wind, test solar, and for God's sakes, test Generation 4 nuclear. Because any of those could be the answer, and we need people talking more about Generation 4 nuclear, because this is a big deal. And it's not the old nuclear stuff either. Nope, no, it's not that. This new stuff, Generation 4 nuclear, it actually is safe from meltdown, and it also eats the nuclear waste from the old machines. So this is ideal, and I mean, this is new technology. It's completely state-of-the-art, safe from meltdown, eats the nuclear waste from the old machines. I tried to get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Love that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I tried to get her to tweet AOC. I wanted her to tweet about this. It would help climate change. It's a big deal, but I can't get her to tweet. This is good. This is like good news for climate change. This is something she supports. And a guy that you need to know about, and Scott Adams talks about him all the time, and I want to give Scott Adams credit for that. But I want to give Mark Schneider credit for this because Mark is the guy behind all of this. He's a nuclear futurist. He has what's called the Green Nuclear Deal. You can go to his Twitter, Schneider, his Twitter name. You can go there, you can find out more. He's got what's called the Green Nuclear Deal, and he's a futurist. He's into nuclear. He's creator of the Green Nuclear Deal, nuclear power operator. He does all of that, and he has an amazing family. I'm just reading his profile. So check out Mark Schneider. He's the guy. I heard about him through Scott Adams. Get into this. We need people supporting this. This is a big deal, folks, okay? Don't wait around. That is number 4. And, one more thing on that, which I do find interesting. We might need a place for this. And this is ironic because not too long ago, Kim Jong-un, Chairman Kim of North Korea, he climbed Mount Paektu, which is the highest peak there, and he said that, quote, energy is more powerful than any nuclear weapon. That's what they reported. Scott Adams has also talked about this. What about converting North Korea, going from they're really into nuclear, but converting them into energy, Generation 4 nuclear? They could power the world. They could become the hub for that. They'd still have the nuclear, and they could run that. That's their thing anyway, nuclear, like. And Kim's suggesting it here in the news. He's saying energy. It might as well be put out there. What's there to lose? I also wrote a column last year about how North Korea could be the place for aerospace engineering. I wanted to add that, just like going into space. We could put like rockets and stuff. Rocket Man could be rockets to Mars. Send Elon Musk over to North Korea. Let them be the place for nuclear energy, for climate change, and for space. North Korea could head that up. Can't we work something out there to finalize things? I think there's a lot that could happen there. So just an idea. So that is number 4. And finally, number 5, the last one I wanted to talk about. This 5th one is regarding sexuality. We've got the heterosexual community, people are straight, and then we've got, the LGBTQ community, which is very important, I'm a huge supporter of the LGBTQ, and I think what's happening, slowly but surely, more and more, it's being recognized all the time, and that's so important, and I think that's so awesome, because all of my gay and lesbian friends, I love them to death. I think they're all awesome, and I want that to continue happening, but I think there's also another orientation that's gonna emerge, and I think that it's within the world of kink, which is a terrible word. Kink just is awful. And BDSM, 50 Shades, was the beginning of this. And Jillian Kennan, I forget, I've talked to her, she's an awesome girl. She wrote an article, awesome woman, online about this, and she talked about, it was titled, "Is Kink a Sexual Orientation?" And I think it could emerge as a third variable, as a third orientation. Because kink is about dom and sub, like 50 Shades of Grey. And there's all sorts of variations on it. And it transcends gender sometimes. Some people can be bi, some people can be gay, lesbian, some not. But it's ultimately about that power dynamic more than others. Now, other sexualities will kind of drift into that a little bit, but they also drift into being bi, or they drift into being gay. But there's some people that are kinky is the word, which I think is terrible, or into it, and like that's what they're into. They can't change. So there's like straight kinky people, and there's gay kinky people, and there's bi, and like this is like another orientation that isn't recognized. It's like far from being recognized. It's 50 years behind LGBTQ. Like that's gonna emerge as another big variable here, and an important one. But what Jillian said, I wanted to read out loud because this is really important, and she wrote this in a column online called it's titled, "Is Kink a Sexual Orientation?" This paragraph that she wrote in it, what she wrote was, "From the outside, this thing we do seems like nothing more than weird sex stuff. I understand that. But from the inside, kink is so much more than merely physical. Our orientation is so deeply rooted that many of us feel we were born with it. For us, kink mixes language, ritual, trust, power, pleasure, pain, and identity in a way that can't be captured by a stereotype. You know what else mixes language, ritual, trust, power, pleasure, pain, and identity? Love. Every kind of love." So I think that's important, and I think that people should check out that article because Jillian is, a really important ambassador on this among many others, and I just don't think it's recognized yet. She also wrote, "To fully argue that kink is a sexual orientation, I'll need a definition of what sexual orientation is in the first place. But I'm dissatisfied by the ones I've seen, so I'd like to propose a new definition stolen from Shakespeare. Perhaps sexual orientation is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. Orientation is any sexual identity that is so fixed and unshakable that it defies choice, reason, and even at times simple evolutionary explanation." And then she goes on to say that maybe it's those tempests that Shakespeare mentioned. Maybe to qualify as a sexual orientation, identity must not be innate, unshakable, and unchosen, but also stigmatized. Maybe my kink will only remain my orientation for as long as people continue to blog that I'm a threat to children, tweet that I'm damaged and repulsive, and email that I should be forcibly institutionalized. I could link to examples of all three, but I don't want to feed the trolls. Maybe orientation could be kind of a shelter from the storm, only for those sexual groups or individuals that need it most. So maybe one day, and this is kind of summing up all 5 predictions points, maybe one day we'll get to a point where we won't have to have stereotypes like women have, women can't compete with men in sports, we won't have that frame, or that, we won't need orientations because, that orientation implies something different. Maybe we'll get to the point where everybody sees that and agrees, and we don't need these divisive labels on things. And that right there is what's going to get us to a better world. And that right there is what today's news needs to be talking about more. Thank you guys. This was Launch News. I hope you enjoyed the 5 bold predictions. Please smash that subscribe button below, or like the video if you liked it. Feel free to comment. I want to talk to you. Jeff Pilkington, Launch News. We will see you next time. Out.